Top Homeland Security officials testified at a congressional hearing on Capitol Hill today about the Trump administration's controversial immigration crackdown in Minnesota. The witnesses included Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Rodney Scott and ICE's acting director Todd Lyons. They both faced questions about agents' accountability amid uproar over the deadly shootings of two citizens in Minneapolis last month.
Can you tell us if at least, God, I hope at least one person has been fired for their conduct since these operations have begun? Are you telling us you can't even say one person's been fired?
Sir, I'm not going to talk about personnel actions, but we will get back to you.
But two people have been killed so far. Is that right? A nurse named Preddy and a mom named Good. Two people have been killed so far.
Yes, sir.
Is this proper procedure for the use of pepper spray?
I cannot comment on that because you're only showing one piece, and that subject is clearly not
been
compliant.
investigated? But this is not the intended use of this weapon, correct?
The intended use is to try to avoid escalating. It's to de-escalate the situation.
Well, he was already pinned to the ground by
five.
3 other agents. I think he had been de-escalated.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now on Capitol Hill. Give us a sense of how lawmakers are feeling.
Well, you know, I did have a chance, Lindsay, to talk to not only the chair of the House Homeland Security Committee, which convened this hearing, but also to the ranking member, Andrew Garbarino and Benny Thompson, respectively. Andrew Garbarino, the chair, told me that overall he was satisfied with the answers provided by these immigration enforcement chiefs, precisely because he felt it was an opportunity for them to kind of clear the air and clear things up with respect to the conduct of their respective agencies. That being said, when I asked the ranking member, Benny Thompson, he said he wasn't satisfied, obviously, with respect to the conduct issue, particularly around the issue of, for instance, how kids are handled in detention, some of the training issues in his view. So obviously, Republicans and Democrats kind of went into this hearing with different lines of questioning and certainly remain at odds coming out of it in terms of what it accomplished. But both of them did acknowledge to me that at least they were able to get these officials on the record, which is significant, especially coming after the incidents in Minnesota, where, of course, we saw the fatal shooting of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Both the head of ICE and CPB said that they would make the findings of those investigations available. And they talked a little bit more about the conduct, more broadly speaking, of their officers, but also kind of defended them in terms of some of the tactics. For instance, the head of ICE said that his agents would not unmask, that they would keep those on, that it is a tactic, for instance, for them to protect themselves because threats against ICE agents have been up. So, again, more to come. These officials will be back here on Capitol Hill later this week before a Senate panel where they're likely to face more questions.
What is the latest on DHS funding and that fight?
Well, obviously, you know, there is not a resolution just yet. We saw, of course, Democrats provide their proposals to Republicans with respect to some of the reforms they are seeking, like the unmasking of agents, like ending roving patrols, the need for judicial warrants. But the White House came back with a counteroffer. In fact, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told me earlier today that, you know, that proposal walked away from a lot of the reforms that Democrats were pushing for. So in his view and the view of Leader Schumer, it was incomplete and insufficient. So with both sides kind of at loggerheads, you know, we're still waiting to see what those next steps may be. Otherwise, without a compromise, of course, we could see a funding lapse for the entire Department of Homeland Security agency come this Friday. Lindsay.
Nikole Killion, thank you.